This video was made in collaboration with the Avatar Wiki. If you'd like to learn more, check out the link in the description. The history of combustion bending. Of all the subskills of bending the four elements, combustion bending is probably the most dangerous and most destructive of them all. Unlike conventional firebending, which produces a flame directly from the bender, combustion bending instead creates a powerful beam that explodes either upon contact with a solid surface, or when the bender chooses to. It requires very precise control of one's chi in order to perform it, and comes at quite a risk to the bender doing so. It's a subskill of firebending, and considered rare to the point that only 2 people are known to have had the ability to perform the art. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the history of combustion bending. Before we begin, we publish new content every week, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Combustion Man. The first person we know to have possessed the ability to combustion bend never had his true name revealed, though Sokka eventually came to call him Combustion Man. He discovered his rare ability when he was still young, and during early attempts at controlling the skill, he ended up badly wounding himself, losing his right arm and right leg. He had these replaced with metal prosthetics, giving him a rather daunting appearance. Later on, he used his ability in a series of Agni Kais, during which he quickly gained a name for himself. He went on to use it in his chosen profession as an assassin, which is where Zuko joins the picture. After he realizes that Aang is still alive following the fight in the catacombs of Ba Sing Se, he hires Combustion Man to track down and kill the Avatar, which the latter attempts 4 times. The first time, his trained Raven Eagle intercepted a messenger hawk from a pair of Fire Nation soldiers that saw Aang, and in an effort to maintain Zuko's secrecy, read and burned their message. He tracked Team Avatar to a small cove, where it was only Toph's seismic sensing ability that gave them any warning that someone was coming. This is where we get the first real look at the ability, being able to blast through large volumes of earth, and instantly evaporates big waves of water sent his way by Katara. Aang tries to create a distraction on his own, giving the rest of the team a chance to escape, because he does not realize that with this kind of destructive power they are facing, they need to be better prepared. Combustion Man chases Aang into a field of rock pillars, effortlessly destroying multiple of them without Aang ever landing a single hit. This just goes to show how powerful this ability is. Even with Aang having a decent handle on 3 of the 4 elements, Combustion Man held the upper hand the entire way through the fight. Their second encounter was in a town called Fire Fountain City, named for the giant bronze statue of Fire Lord Ozai, spewing fire from his mouth and both arms. Combustion Man had made a deal with the local city officials, the exact details of which we can only speculate about, but the result is plain. Katara and Toph were captured in an effort to lure Aang out into the open. Even though he gets off multiple shots, Aang's quick reaction times paired with Katara breaking out of prison manages to keep the assassin busy for just long enough. It's here that Toph inadvertently reveals the one weakness all combustion benders have, their third eye tattoo. By its very nature, firebending requires an unobstructed flow of chi, and combustion bending is a concentrated form of firebending, making this more apparent. So even though Combustion Man destroys the rock that Toph launches his way, a tiny pebble flies away from the explosion in his direction, hitting him right on this tattoo. This otherwise minor impact was enough to have this giant of a man reeling, and when he tried to fire at them again, it instead blew up in his face, also demonstrating that this was probably how he lost 2 of his 4 limbs. This is also where Sokka came up with his definitive nickname. The third encounter was only brief when Team Avatar split up. Sokka and Aang traveled a distance by train, but Combustion Man tracked them to the station, and here also showed that he did not care much for collateral damage and civilian casualties, as he opened fire in a full train carriage. The train was also picking up speed since the driver had been knocked out by the explosions, leaving it up to Sokka to stop the train. Meanwhile, Aang lured the assassin to the roof of the train, and as it came to a standstill on a bridge, blasted Combustion Man off with a large wave of water. Combustion Man's final attempt to kill Aang and Team Avatar by extension was at the Western Air Temple, where they sought refuge after the failed invasion of the Fire Nation capital. Combustion Man does reveal himself to be a patient man, waiting for Aang to be unobstructed from his current position so that he has a clear shot. It's Zuko who comes in at the very last moment, kicking him aside to make him miss his shot, but it is here that we see the true destructive potential of this bending art. With a single shot, he obliterates the fountain of the temple, and it also demonstrates something else that is unusual: the range. Considering Aang risks putting himself out in the open to bend a tornado towards the assassin, it's probably fair to posit that combustion bending has some significant range to it when compared to normal bending arts. This does make sense, given that it is in effect a concentrated beam, whereas normal flames will fade out much more quickly. What's also interesting is that one of his blasts was stopped by the rare defensive move of firebending, namely Zuko's fire shield, which only blasted him back but left him otherwise unharmed. But it was Sokka who found the true weak spot of Combustion Man. Using his boomerang to blindside the assassin, Sokka managed to angle it perfectly, and with a pretty good helping of luck, hit Combustion Man right on his third eye tattoo. When he then tried to fire again, his vision was shown to be hazy, and instead of a concentrated beam, it exploded with enough force to bring the entire temple down, killing himself in the process. Pali. The second known person to have possessed the ability to combustion bend was Pali, a member of the Red Lotus. Like Combustion Man, she discovered her ability early in life, but that's where the similarities end. Rather than using her ability to win Agni Kais, she was kidnapped by a warlord who trained her to become his killing machine. It was Zahir who freed her, after which she joined the Red Lotus. In one way, she did fare better than Combustion Man, because she still has all of her limbs. Shortly after Avatar Aang's death, she began plotting with Unalaq and the rest of the Red Lotus to kidnap Korra and brainwash her to use the new Avatar for their own purposes. But the rest is history. Tenzin, Tonraq, Sokka, and Lord Zuko managed to fight off the Red Locust and imprison them, all in specially designed prisons to negate their bending abilities. For Pali, this meant she was shipped off to the Northern Water Tribe, into an ice prison where the cold water would stifle her firebending. She also got a special iron band chained over her forehead to stop her from combustion bending her way out of there. Of course, after Zahir acquired airbending following harmonic convergence, he broke the other members of his team out one at a time, with Pali last. She does not waste any time. As soon as she is free, immediately deflects the fire blast from Zuko's dragon Druk, before combustion bending his way, sending the beast reeling. She almost kills Tonraq, who's engaged in a fight with Zahir, but he manages to throw up an ice wall at the last second to protect himself. Pali, however, is free, and the Red Lotus is complete once more. They head to Republic City, where Zahir infiltrates Air Temple Island to find out where Korra is. Their original plan was also to kill President Raiko, but after Zahir's true motivation was discovered, they were forced to abandon that goal. The police had closed the bridges looking for the Red Lotus, so they coerced a delivery driver to take them across the bridge. However, due to a nervous mistake, the driver misspoke, giving them away. The police briefly gave chase, but Pali blasted several of their cars out of the way with very little effort, while Ghazan helped her out by creating a pool of lava on the bridge, trapping the last remaining cars. It's in Zaofu, where they track Korra thanks to Ai Wei, that we see Pali use her full power. When the Red Lotus gets caught trying to kidnap Korra again, the alarm sounds and they are caught in the spotlights, causing them to realize that they will have to fight their way out. This is also the only time we see a combustion bender create regular fire, which Pali does against Mako and Bolin. After taking out the searchlights, she does show off a new ability though, being able to curve the combustion beam around obstacles. As soon as the metal bending guards trap them, Ghazan creates a lava moat around them, which he and Pali can very effectively defend, even when Zahir gets grabbed out while trying to create cover. Suyin comes up with the plan to drop in from the top of the dome, but Lin points out that Pali would blow them up as soon as she would spot them, further emphasizing just how dangerous this skill is. Fortunately, Suyin knows the weak spot of combustion benders, which Bolin ultimately manages to use to his advantage, bending a pebble to hit her right on the forehead, staggering her long enough that the Beifong sisters can grab Korra and take her back to safety. Zahir crash lands back on their little impromptu island, and finally creates enough cover for them to escape to the tunnels under Zaofu. The next time we see Pali use her ability properly is during the raid of the Northern Air Temple, where the Red Lotus prepares to take the new airbenders hostage in an attempt to lure Avatar Korra to them. She circles the temple in their stolen airship, constantly managing to stop the airbenders from escaping on the Flying Bison. It's where we see a combustion bender at their most dangerous, being able to suppress a large area because none of the airbenders are able to land a hit on her from their position. She has the high ground, and what's more, she's always on the move, so her range is practically infinite as the airbenders are concerned. Kai attempts to distract her by flying around on his glider, but she blasts him out of the air, and only at the very last second does he create an air shield, protecting him from being blown to pieces. It also proves just how quick combustion bending can work, because while Pali was distracted, the airbenders couldn't even run the relatively short distance to the flying bison before she scared them off anyway. Pali's final stand is at Lahima's peak, where she first shackles Korra, but as soon as Mako radios the Avatar that the Red Lotus deceived them, Korra fights back. Zahir does manage to subdue her, what with Korra already shackled, but the Beifong sisters and the elite guard of the Metal Clan are there as backup. However, Pali does not hesitate to take on 8 skilled earth and metal benders, and does manage to hold them off long enough for Zahir to bring Korra to the airship, were it not for Tonraq interfering on that front. But it's here that the combustion bender demonstrates her vagabond style of fighting that she picked up over the years, showing that she is not all about brute force. As she fights Lin and Suyin, who are shooting rock after rock at her, she doesn't just destroy them all like Combustion Man did before her, but also nimbly dodges out of the way of some of them, demonstrating an awareness on her part that even combustion bending is not invincible. However, Pali does manage to get the upper hand in the fight, despite being badly outnumbered. It's ultimately the ingenuity of the Beifong sisters that winds up becoming her downfall. Lin draws the combustion bender's fire, leaving Pali wide open for Suyin to do something, which she does. She bends up her armor, wrapping it around Pali's head right as she is about to fire. This means there is the explosion in a confined space around her head, killing the world's second known combustion bender with her own ability as well. All in all, combustion bending is an extremely dangerous skill, both to the people it's being used against, as well as to the user themselves. Both known combustion benders have died due to their own abilities being used against them, both after causing significant damage to others in their surroundings. Perhaps with this ability, it's a good thing that it's as rare as it is. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.